It's 9:30. I will call this open session of Council to order and ask that we stand for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. I would ask if any members of council have a pecuniary interest to disclose it. Seeing none. Rise and report. I don't believe we have any rise and report from the in-camera session. Item number 7 is the delegations. I would ask for a motion that we ask the delegation from the Hub to come forward and make the presentation. Councillor McDougall, second by Councillor Napper. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. Welcome. We have Darren Johnson, Shaylee Silvestri, and Jaylene Portier. Good morning.
Yes, hello, I'm Shaylin. This is Darren.
And I'm Darren Johnston. Oh, yes. Okay, so we're here today to give you an update on how the Hub has been going since it's opened in February. And as you see up here now, this is all the community partners that we have. There's 40 community partners in total, the Huron House, CMHA, quite a few of them. So here are our stats since we've opened up in February. So as you can see, our orange lines there is youth that attend total within the month of the corresponding. So, and if you see the handout you have right in front of you, we've had a total of 175 youth total come and do intakes with the Hub. And for the total year, we've had 2,748 youth attend the Hub on a daily basis, or throughout the year. We've served 2,364 meals throughout that time, every day to day through the month, and we've had 922 youth participate in our programming throughout the year. So that could include anything from learning basic life skills, financial literacy, and physical activities of that sort. And we've had 40 youth that identify as Aboriginal, and we've also had 30 youth that have come throughout the county, and the rest have come from Sarnia. And we've successfully helped 11 youth find gainful employment and education, and 15 youth find housing, and we're helping many more on an ongoing basis. And we've also helped 4 youth gain their community hours for probation.
So every night after we have dinner together, we participate in programming all together at 6 o'clock. And so usually programming looks like one of our community partners coming in. And so we'll have Lambton College come in with their group, Let's Face It. We talk about mental health and coping skills. financial fitness comes in and does financial work with them, legal aid so that the youth know what their rights are. And sometimes we just do fun things like, as you can see up there, like we've made cotton candy. We do a lot of art with the youth. Open mic nights are very popular. We have a lot of fun. And then next, so youth advisors. So me and Darren are both youth advisors at the Hub. And the purpose of that is to make sure that the youth voice is heard. So we sit in on all the committee meetings, and we're a part of every decision that is made with the Hub. And then we also make sure that we're at the Hub working on a peer-to-peer level, just talking to the youth about their day-to-day life struggles, and anything that's too heavy for us to handle, the staff take care of. But we're really there to make sure that youth have someone they can connect to who's a part of staff. And then we also come out into the community and do presentations. So we go out and go to churches, and they will make sure that the community knows what the Hub is. And then we also hold meetings once a month at the Hub that's programming. And so what those meetings do is for the youth to come and just talk to us about what they would like to see at the Hub. So that could be programming or like furniture that they want like added in at some point. And then we go and make sure that we can try to see if that can happen. So we meet together and see what the budget is and see what we can do for them. So then community events. So the youth participate in community events. We do bake sales with them where they bake all the goods and then come and help us sell them. And then we've done a car wash. We participated in the Canday Parade. And then the youth, through these things, can also get their community hours and probation hours. So, and if they don't want to do the community events, they can even just do it right at the Hub. They can cook or clean or participate in the programming. Programming will count for their community hours as well. So that's where that comes through, that stat of how we've helped them get their community hours. So we have a quick little video here just to show some of the youth talking about the space. Is it letting you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So the video's not working, but Darren here is also going to give his own testimony, so that we can.
So I started first going to the Hub about, I think it was January. It was about 4 months ago that I started going. And before that, I wasn't really engaged too much in the community. I didn't know what was going on. I just kept to myself for the most part. And then I went to the Hub for the first time. I had a social somebody that was engaged in the community kind of point me in that direction, and it really opened my eyes just to all the goings on in the community in general, and all the things that I can go out and learn and how to engage in Sarnia, Lambton, and the county in general. I've become quite a lot more active in the community, and it's just been a great experience. Like just going out and talking with young people, having dinner with somebody. Usually I would just stay at home and eat by myself, but to go out and just speak with people that are my age, and it's been a great experience, and it's opened a lot of doors for me.
We just have a couple minutes. We're going to try to pull the video up here in our email. Do you just want to log into the Youth Hub? if we can pull it up because of the security measures here. Saying it's not your device. Okay, that's okay. I can send it to you if you'd like. I have the link in my email.
That would be great.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Thank you for that. Does anyone, council, have any questions? Councillor Bradley.
The status of a permanent facility, and you do have a facility at this time, and there were plans, and this council was supportive a year ago of contributing to a new building, and I'm not sure that perhaps you are the people that could address that, but what's the status of that?
At our last hub meeting with all of our community partners present, there was a presentation made to us. The Vanden Heuvel family, who owns Preferred Towing, made a proposal to the hub committee to offer the ABC building to us. So that is still in discussions with the hub, as it is a community collaborative, as well as the youth voice to have their opinion in that as well. So as of right now, no decisions have been made, but that proposal was made to the hub committee last meeting.
The ABC former daycare over on London Road that they've purchased and need to rezone to then bring about that project. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor McGugan.
Yeah, Mr. Warden, members of County Council, thanks for your presentation. It's nice to see successes. Now, it maybe was in the information. Are you open 7 days a week or just the 5? And what is the long-range future for you? And is there a role for County Council eventually, or where are we going?
So the only day that we're closed is Sundays. We're open Monday to Friday from 3 to 8 and Saturdays 1 to 9. We tried to stay open the hours that a lot of the other social service agencies are not open in the evening hours. It gives something for the youth to do, takes them off the street, gives them positive supports, and it gets them connected in those community supports as well to help them be successful. Our future is kind of up in the air right now as we do not have sustainable funding. Our 1 year is up in February, and we are still very hopeful that we will have sustainable funding. We're just waiting to hear back from a couple grants. But I know the county in the past has been a huge support of us and has helped us through grants as well.
Okay. Thank you. If there's no other questions, on behalf of council, I would congratulate you on the successes and starting, and I'm sure we'll hear more of good things happening.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Item number 8 is the minutes of the open and closed session from September 6th. Motion to adopt those minutes. Deputy Warden McCharles, seconded by Councillor Boucher. Any questions on those minutes? Councillor Arnold.
Yes, Warden Weber, we're looking at the September 6th minutes.
Yep.
And I believe when I spoke on page 18 of 37 is what I have, and it talks about where speakers, it was staff members should be there, not speakers.
Okay.
Thank you.
So noted. Any other questions? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Correspondence. We have 2 items of correspondence. How do we want to deal with that correspondence? Motion to Councillor McGugan to receive and file, seconded by Councillor Marriott. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Committee AM minutes. I would call on Chair Gillis, and Chair Gillis is not here, so I will call on Vice Chair Gilliland to present those. Are you not Vice Chair? Who am I? Councillor Arnold. I'm in the wrong.
Well, that's okay, Warden Weber.
Okay.
I know you're a very busy man, and it's hard to keep us all straight when you look out here from that way above us. I'd just like to present on behalf of the AM committee meeting, Infrastructure and Development Services, Public Health Services, Cultural Services, meeting that was held on September the 20th, 2017 for Council's perusal.
Item number 1 is correspondence. Motion number 2, Emergency Management Program Committee. Councillor McGugan.
Yeah, thank you ever so much, Mr. Warden. That very first motion, I see it was just filed, I guess. That's about the Phragmites and hogweed and that. Should we not be supporting that in principle? It may not do any good, but it certainly can't hurt. I would suggest that we do support it. That's 1A, I believe.
Okay. Are you moving that we is that the proper procedure here to get a motion? Motion that we support that. Seconded by Councillor Case. Any questions? All in favor of that? That's carried. Thank you. Item 2, Emergency Management Program Committee. Item 3, the Sandrin Lands. Item number 4, appoint bylaw inspectors. Public Health Services, correspondence, receive and file, number 5. Number 6, information reports. Motion number 7, funding support for harm reduction program enhancements. Cultural Service Division number 8, Lambton Heritage Facility Renewal Project. Under other business, item 9, a report for marketing practices and opportunities. Facilities, finance facilities, number 10, Bioindustry Innovation Canada. Item 11 is the adjournment. Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Warden Weber. I'll move these minutes to be accepted as presented and added to.
Seconder for that, Councillor Bean. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And we have the PM committee minutes. Chair McDougall.
Warden Weber, members of County Council, the Long-Term Care, Corporate Services, Finance Facilities and Court Services and Social Services Committee met on the afternoon of September 20th, 2017. I present to you for discussion that day's minutes.
Thank you. Long-Term Care Division correspondence. Motion number 1, receive that. Information reports number 2, received. Item number 3, resident quality inspections. Finance Facilities and Court Services, number 4, information reports received. Number 5 is Bioindustry Innovation Canada. Number 6 is a reassignment of departmental surplus. Social Services Division correspondence received and filed, number 7. Number 8 is information reports received. Number 9 is regarding Ontario early years. Number 10, a Rebound Hub grant request update. Item 11 is receive and file, that report. Item 12, 13, and 14 were in camera. Item 15 is going out of camera. And item 16 is adjournment. Chair McDougall.
Warden Weber, members of County Council, I move that day's minutes for adoption.
seconded by Councillor Boucher. Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Items tabled from a previous meeting. I have notices of motion and other business. Councillor Case.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Warden. Mr. Warden, I'd like to propose a motion to Council today, and that motion would be to have staff prepare a report to explore having Sarnia-Lambton Economic Partnership and Tourism Sarnia-Lambton blend into one organization. And that is my motion. It's a simple one. Have a report to come back to Council to look at having Tourism Sarnia-Lambton join Sarnia-Lambton Economic Partnership. And if I get a seconder to that, I'd like to speak to it.
Second by Councillor Gilliland. That motion's in order without a notice of motion for a report. Okay. Councillor Case, you want to speak to it?
Yeah, if I could, Mr. Warden. And again, I brought this forward years ago, and I think it's an appropriate time to take a look at it again. I mean, there's lots of economic development organizations out there that have tourism as part of their economic development organization. If you talk to some of the folks with EDCO and organizations like this, and I'm sure not doing this to water down tourism. I think it'll make tourism stronger if they have the opportunity to work with an organization like SLEP. After all, they do carry the economic development ball into the court for us here at Lambton County. So again, the whole methodology of having this motion and bringing it forward is to make both organizations stronger and get us, to be honest with you, the people of Lambton County have better value for their dollar at the end of the day. So that's why I propose it. It's not to water down one organization by any means. It's to make us stronger here in Lambton County as a whole. So that's why I bring it forward. Thank you.
Okay. Motion to ask for a report. Councillor McDougall.
Yes. Warden Weber, members of County Council, I enthusiastically support staff coming back to us with a report on value that could be gained by bringing these two economic development interests potentially together. I think that there has been certainly much talk around this particular table over the years about the works of TSL in terms of destination marketing for a product that exists currently in the community, and their interpretation that growing tourism is growing those areas. The development of tourism, the development of assets in our community, the expansion of some offerings that we already have has never been achieved in the time that I've sat as part of this council, or for that matter as part of the Tourism Sarnia-Lambton Board. We do have a new staff manager, and we're seeing some invigoration of the SLEP organization, and I think, and I certainly do agree with Councillor Case that this is the time for us to take a solid look at it. I spoke with Mayor Bradley about this and our shared interest in seeing success for TSL last week, and I met with the chair of our SLEP board yesterday around some of the history of tourism development goals and aspirations of the past. So I think the timing is good. Look optimistically that we can strengthen both organizations and achieve some of the goals and objectives of tourism development, certainly out in the county, more specifically in my own municipality. There are many assets that have been discovered or that have been growing in the past that with consolidated effort could certainly move together in the future. So it's a good thought to pursue. It won't be without difficulties and territories and everything else, but I am going to trust staff. I thank Councillor Case for bringing forward that motion, and I think it's timely right now that we could help move this as an economic development driver in our community, more specifically than anything else. Thank you.
Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Warden Weber. Just one of the things in the report, if we just have the history and the evolution of the TSL organization, I'm not sure how many people on county council realize this, but it used to be not part of this county. It only catered to a couple of the municipalities, and I believe that I was involved in the motion to have it brought under the county umbrella so many years ago, and I think that was the right thing to do, and it's just a matter of see how it's evolved from then. And also, I just want to compliment TSL and their digs. I think it's a beautiful spot for them to be at. We've used the facility a couple of times, and they've been great hosts. And I think it's come a long, long way over the last number of years, and I appreciate them very much. And I look forward to the report, if it passes.
Councillor Bradley and then Councillor Woosley.
Yeah, I got a question to, I guess, the mover and seconder. This, because there are, as the warden knows, there has been discussion of this. Is this a county report, or is this going to be in conjunction with the other two boards, SLEP and the Tourism Sarnia Lambton Group? Like, to me, that needs to happen because it's that's agreed to. And if I can just add to that tourism was with the Economic Development Group for many years. That went off by itself, was freestanding. 4 or 5 years ago, the Economic Partnership was asked to do the very thing that's being asked today. At that time, the decision was no, because they didn't feel the group was functioning properly, and we had enough challenges ourselves. But I think the timing is ideal now for a lot of different reasons. So I think I welcome the direction. I just want to make sure we do this with the other two parties, and we do it as we're heading, because I believe Tourism Sarnia Lambton's, Mr. Innes, its funding's up for renewal in the next budget, right? So the timing is excellent. And there are economies, I think, within our board, the Economic Partnership, we can still give tourism the representation it needs and make the whole both organizations more dynamic. So certainly applaud the motion from Councillor Case.
Do you want to speak to that?
Correct. So that's a point very well taken, because those organizations are, from a governance perspective, separate from county council. And as a result, if there's going to be a discussion over the amalgamation merger of those entities, that has to be done through the boards of those entities. But acknowledging that practically both of those organizations are heavily reliant on county council in terms of their financing. So in terms of the motion itself, you probably saw Ron and I having a bit of a chat over this. We would suggest this language, if I may, Warden Weber, to capture that item that you were just raising, Councillor Bradley. And that is for staff to initiate a discussion with the management and boards of SLEP and TSL towards a potential merger and or amalgamation of those two entities, and prepare and return back to County Council with a report, and that said report include a summary of the evolution and history of the TSL and SLEP organizations.
That's okay with the mover and the seconder to accept that wording. Councillor Bradley, follow up.
Just a follow-up is that the motion is excellent. It's clean. The only thing I would like to ask is that we put a deadline on this. The budget's up for next March. It would, and I don't what reasonable, 60, 90 days given the timing of the year now. Is that a reasonable? Like I see this as I think there's willingness on all three parties' sides, so I don't see this as difficult as 5 years ago if we wanted to do it. What is a reasonable time period to bring this back to us and have that discussion with the other groups?
What would a timeline be?
I think ultimately before budget, before the month in which the budget is presented, is reasonable. Again, we need to align our efforts here with the efforts of TSL and its board, and of course SLEP and its board. So there's a lot of players that get involved, but I believe that the month before the month in which the budget is prepared is a reasonable deadline.
Okay with the mover?
Absolutely. And could I speak to it as well?
Yep.
Mr. Ward? So again, I do appreciate the support and the comments from my colleagues today to make this into a better, more well-rounded motion. And my intent was that we would work with the organizations all along. We wouldn't just come up with a report on our own, that we would have those discussions and, I mean, the ability to sit down with both organizations to see how they feel about it. So just wanted to make that point. So thank you, Mr. Warden.
Councillor Boucher.
Mr. Warden, on the face of it, I'm not opposed. I'm in favor of the motion. I'd just like to remind the council, as long as I remember, TSL has been kicked around quite a bit over the years. And then they arrived now, they're very active, they're doing a good job. I don't think that's the time to do it, but I'll wait for the administration report and see how much money we're going to save.
Okay. Councillor Case?
Yeah, and just to make the point again very clear, Mr. Warden, this is sure not a motion that I bring forward today to water down Tourism Sarnia Lambton. It's to strengthen that organization as well as our overall economic position, I'm going to say, on the world stage. So again, I'm not bringing this forward to water down or belittle what that organization's done. I think they've come a long way and done a terrific job. So again, just want to be very clear, this is a report I'm asking for just to explore and to see where maybe this could happen. So I just want to be very clear on that, and I do appreciate Councillor Bushy's comments. Okay. So thank you.
Councillor Han.
I'm on the board of TSL, and I would just like to mention that currently we have a contract with the temporary manager that expires in December. So I'm concerned about getting her input. The other manager is still absent due to disability. So I would think it'd be important to be able to get the involvement of the current manager, Joy, at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sure we can accommodate that. Councillor Bradley.
It's just sharpening how we're delivering this, and we're very sensitive to the TSL board, and there's a lot of cross-pollination between economic partnership with the warden and CAOs and sitting on the different boards. So this is not a confrontational exercise, but I don't view it as that we're trying to diminish the dollars on the actual service. And in fact, I'd make the case to the economic partnership probably needs more money with their mandate. So again, for the staff, I guess I'm saying as one person, I just see this as how can we make this serve the public better, but I'm not at least personally going in there to try to decrease what we're doing. And in fact, you can make the case we should be doing more.
Okay. Councillor Bushy, follow up.
But the aims of the organization are different, completely different. And I don't know, unless you're saving them money, I'd be against it.
Okay. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you. Any other business? Councillor McGugan.
Board members of the County Council, I've got two items. I'll do one at a time. The first one is that recently I had an opportunity to hear a presentation. I believe his name is Steve Facio. Is that correct, Andrew? And he made a presentation on the community paramedics pilot program that Lambton County was awarded $235,000 earlier in the year. I thought it was an excellent presentation. I did learn a lot, particularly that there was one person in Lambton County that called 911 187 times last year. And that was just one point, but there was many more that he made. And this is a trial period, and there's only 4 paramedics, I believe, that have been trained, took some training at Fanshawe College. I would like that presentation made sometime in the near future to County Council. Now, the presentation I heard took half an hour. Now, I'm sure he can whittle it down. So I don't know, you need a motion or just a suggestion or what?
Just, we'll... Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Councillor McDougall that we invite the presentation.
So the motion is to invite personnel from EMS to make a presentation to County Council on the pilot program. Is that right?
Okay. Any other questions? Councillor McGowan? Yeah. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. You have another item? Councillor McGugan.
Yeah, Mr. Warden, members of County Council. At AMO, I did take the opportunity to go to the Board of Health seminar or committee meeting that was held in Ottawa. I was just baffled. And I noticed in the August meeting of the morning committee, there was a very short comment about that whole report. It was tabled. I didn't bring it up in the September meeting. So I've done a little more research, and I'm not sure where we are. Lambton and Kent, Chatham-Kent, are a different setup than Essex-Windsor or Windsor-Essex. Roger was on the panel, and he was opposed to it. And from what I can gather, I was opposed to it too. With the information we got, it's going to be under the LINs. The area would be whatever the LINs is. And from what I could gather, it wouldn't be ordinary people on it. It would be all professionals. I believe everybody that's on the steering committee set up in Toronto were all either doctors or PhDs. So I'm asking maybe through you to Mr. Taylor, sometime we get a report. And I'm not sure if it's too late to make comments to the government or not, because it's coming down the hill pretty fast. And just a sidebar, David Cribbs spoke on behalf of Norfolk County and he was really concerned that they were going to be lumped in with Hamilton and they would not have any representation or no viable representation. So I just ask perhaps we can get a report in the near future. If it can't come in November, it can come in the new year. But by the new year, it may be too late.
Thank you for that. I attended with Mr. Taylor a meeting in Toronto last Friday regarding the Board of Health changes, and the deadline is October 31st. Mr. Taylor, if you'd like to speak to that more, or what we need to do. There was a lot of opposition towards the changes that were being presented. Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, through you, Warden Weber. Absolutely. Thank you for the question and expressing concern. The meeting attended Friday was for Board of Health chairs, so our warden and myself attended that meeting. And Councillor Bev Hand also expressed some concerns about the same report. Let's just say that, in short, the province has received a report from an expert panel, and some of the recommendations proposed in there present a significant change to the structure of public health as it exists today. So municipalities are very concerned, and that was echoed on Friday during the meeting. I will say the province's message through the Assistant Deputy Minister for Public Health and the Chief MOH for the province have been clear that the ministry has made no firm decisions about this report. They're in the process of hearing from stakeholders, and the deadline, it's a Halloween deadline for submission. So next steps, staff will be reaching out to the lower tiers with a few questions so that we can get some input and we can send the input back through the warden and head of council.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, notice of bylaws. Oh, it's all right. Councillor Hand.
I was slow putting my hand up. I believe, Mr. Taylor, that you told me that we've already submitted a letter from the county stating objection to that change? Or do we need to make a motion to do so by that October 31st deadline?
Sorry, so through you, Warren Weber. No, to date, no comments have been forwarded back to the province on the expert panel report. I did catch that your municipality was doing that. However, once the comments are received, and so we understand what the feelings are, those reports will be sent back through the warden's office.
Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Warden Weber. I have two quick items. The first is just like to invite everyone to the Brigden Fall Fair, which starts on Friday. And the second thing that I'd just like to mention is that I've spent a great deal of time and reflection since the disaster in Las Vegas, keeping all that have been involved in my thoughts and prayers. And I just wanted to express my appreciation for all of our people that protect us on a daily basis throughout this great county of ours. And that I feel very blessed. Truly blessed to live here in Lambton County, and in particular my municipality. But it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see, and I hear this morning that there was a fourth victim that passed away from Canada. So it's just unbelievable. Something like that can happen. But I think it's important that we just acknowledge that.
Point taken. Councillor McGugan.
Thank you so much. I should say thank you. I know that we were paying for it, but I say thanks for the updates here for the handicapped accessibility. I think that's a positive.
Looks great. Yep. Any other questions? I don't miss any hands. Notice of bylaws.
Thank you, Warden Weaver. It's moved by Councillor Hand, seconded by Councillor McDougall, that bylaws 27, 28, 29 of 2017 as circulated be taken as read a first and second time.
Questions? All in favor? Carried.
It is moved by Councillor McDougall, seconded by Councillor Hand, that bylaw 27, 28, 29 of 2017 as circulated be taken as read a third time and finally passed.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Motion to adjourn. There's a recommendation that we meet November the 1st at 9 a.m. in Committee Room 3. Councillor Broad, seconded by Councillor Marriott. All in favor?